or we couldn't stay out late at night. The youngsters growing up in Carriacou was very respectable. The children were very respectable. I stayed home to cook the lunch because I couldn't deal with the earthworms.
What's your name and what's your connection to Carriacou?
My name is Lyris McLawrence. I was born in Carriacou, born and bred in Carriacou. Grew up there, went to school, did the church. So that's my connection there. Yeah.
When did you leave Carriacou? What year?
And 1965.
Why did you decide to come to the UK?
Because my dad was here and he wanted to bring us all up because he thought there'll be a better life here for us. And therefore, he brought us up one at a time. And I settled eventually, thinking of Carriacou all the time. But yeah.
What was your dad doing here? What work was he
He was
doing?
working. Um, I can't remember. I think he was doing shoes. He was living in Wellingborough, that's Northampton, and that's where the shoemakers were. Lots of factories with. That's where they made shoes. Yes, in those days. Yeah. So that's what he was doing at the time. Yeah.
What was Birmingham like when you first arrived?
Huh. Dark houses, cold, and smoke everywhere, and of course because people were living in bedroom, that was strange to me. People were living, had one bedroom for several people, and I was told that the men, some of them will work nights and some will work days. So therefore, the same bed, when one group leave the bed, like two or three of them, they go to work, the others are in the bed to sleep in the day because they're working nights. And that's how they shared it, because they were short of rooms. It wasn't easy to get rooms at the time. That's what I was told, because of this. What was it? No Irish, no dogs, and no some. Yeah.
No
So
dogs.
because of that, um, they didn't get rooms easily, so they had to make do. Of course, many of them were here without the family, and eventually the family came, so they had to work to get a house, and eventually they got through it and had the family. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Were there many people from Carriacou here when you first got to Birmingham?
Um, yes, there are a few. The thing is, although I came to Birmingham, I didn't live in Birmingham for long, so therefore I went to Wellingborough. So I did meet a few people from Carriacou here in Birmingham. Yes, I did meet a few, but I wasn't here for very long.
What did your mum do? What was her? What did she do in Carriacou? Was she?
She had a shop. She had a little shop and supplying Carriacou with things, never getting home. No. Yeah, she had a little shop, and of course looking after the family children, because some of the parents, they came up here to meet their husband because they were working together in order to save to send back, to send home for the children to come up. So my mom was helping in that way. She had she had her sisters, she had the children, my uncle, she helped him. So that's mainly her, and of course her son, who she had to look after. But she had a little shop as well.
Mhm,
And of course, work in the garden, that took up quite a bit of the time as well.
mhm, mhm.
Harvesting, things that they've grown. So yeah, she was very well occupied.
Mhm. Did you experience a hurricane?
I did. I did. I can't remember a lot of the hurricane, but what I remembered was my dad was on the sea because they went to Grenada to get the ticket to come up to England. And on the way back home, the hurricane started. So he was on sea when the hurricane started. So my mom thought, well, we wouldn't see him again because the weather was so bad that how can you survive if you're on a boat on the sea? But he did, because we went to a neighbor's house They had it downstairs, and it was a wall house. Ours was a board house. So we went there when it was sort of dying down a little, and there were a few people there taking shelter, and the door knocked, and we just couldn't think who it was. Well, it was my dad. So that was the greatest thing for my mom and us, because he survived it. He came back. He got away with it. Yes, and there was a couple of other men as well who got caught, but yeah, yes, and I do remember the hurricane. Very scary. Our house stayed up, but there was some galvanized blown off, but the house wasn't broken. It wasn't, yes. So we were able to shelter there until early early the morning. We went to my uncle's house, and yeah, it was quite scary as well. But we didn't get hurt. None of us got hurt. Yeah.
What hurricane was that?
Janet.
And that was what year was that?
Was that in 60? 64, was it? This
What year was it, Mum? So it was 1955.
next, okay.
September 1955.
Okay, September 1965.
55.
50. That's right, I was going to say, because I came up here in 65. 55, yeah. Yeah. We can't forget Janet. It was a nasty hurricane. Yeah.
Did you know anybody that died in the hurricane?
No. I can't recall.
What's your earliest memory of Carriacou?
My earliest memory, obviously, going to church. I was taken to church. We went to church every Sunday. I'm a Roman Catholic. And what I remember was getting dressed up, going to church, my preacher dress and my socks, and I enjoyed it. I looked forward to it. I was taken by my mom, my siblings, and on Sunday, we'll come home, cook nice food, as somebody said, sweet food. And yeah, and that was my memory. Then going to school. Of course, going to school is growing up, isn't it? A few years. So during that time, I remember doing the gardening, not the gardening, but looking after the animals. We had to go and look after the animals. And of course, we had to do that before going to school. The chore was getting them water, changing them from place to place in the garden, getting dressed, although her mom was there to cook the breakfast. So of course, doing that, we went home and we had our breakfast, and of course, off to school. We had to walk to school. We didn't have buses then. We didn't have school buses. So we had to walk to school. Yeah, and that was one of my memories. Yeah.
What did it feel like being in Carriacou at the time?
Well, at the time, I didn't know any different. That was home. Although at the time the sun was really hot, it didn't matter because we didn't know any better. So at that time, we went to the garden. I remember having to stay home from school. We had to do the gardening to help our parents do the gardening. The siblings had to do it, of course. The jobs in the gardening was, they had to share the jobs. My job was cooking, had to cook the lunch. And of course, guess what? I'm scared of the earthworms. And that was my job. I stayed home to cook the lunch because I couldn't deal with the earthworms. So I'll cook the lunch and I'll take it up to the garden. Once I get there, I'll stay away from the garden, and one of my siblings has to collect the lunch from me. And up to today, that has an effect on me. Just knowing I've got to go, and there's little animals everywhere. Of course, where the fruit trees were, the mangoes, that's where you found what was the name of that animal? Gongori, I think we called it. And that was scary. So up to now, when I go back to Carriacou, I'm watching everywhere for the gongories. I'm so scared of them. As I say, up to now, that's, that's in my mind.
What are they
Yeah.
called? Gungarees?
That's what we call them. I'm not sure the right name, but that's what we call them back home. They were black, long, like thing, and they crawl. Sorry. So yes, that's part. Yeah, yeah.
So what do you remember about the food, the people, the atmosphere in Carriacou at a young age?
The food at the time, it was good because that's what we were used to. One thing I didn't like, we had the cornmeal and they did cuckoo, a dish called cuckoo. No, I didn't like that at all. Again, that still played part in my life, but it's the opposite way now. I love it now. Doing the cuckoo, and it's the peas and dumpling. Although I didn't like the gardening, but I did like the peas. I enjoyed that, the peas, the groundnuts, and loads of fruits, especially mangoes, I remember those. Yeah, yeah,
And what
that
about
they were good.
the people?
The people, nice people. I remember, funny enough, now that I've recognized, the youngsters growing up in Carriacou was very respectable. The children were very respectable. Everybody will call one another cousin. We all call people, family, neighbors, cousin. So everybody was cousin to one another. The grown-ups, they were they would look after us then. If we were naughty coming from school, they will tell our mothers. So we had mothers, it was a community who looks after the children growing up. And yeah, that's what I remember. The people themselves, the elderly people, they work the garden, hardworking people, although we were involved as well, but it's only a small minority. They had the animals growing up, well, not growing up, but yeah, and those are the same animals that grow. We had to. That's what we ate. We had chickens, we had sheep and goats and so on, and that's what we. And it's all due to the people, especially the women, the hardworking people. Yeah.
So what do you miss most about Carriacou?
Um, obviously, when I was coming to England, my mom was still at home and my younger brother. I missed them a lot. It was bittersweet because my dad was here with siblings and my mom was going to be left home with my younger brother, my youngest brother, I think. And that was sad. I missed that a lot. I miss my friends. I miss the activities, the carnival, Christmas time, all the street parties. Of course, during Christmas time and carnival, we had all those. Well, I miss those as well because they were part of my growing up. And I didn't have that here when I came to England to start with. Yeah.
So when do you feel closest to it now? When do you feel closest to Carriacou now?
Now,
At what points do you feel closest to it?
when I get together with my friends, with family, we chat a lot about Carriacou. So it brings us together, the Carriacou community. We talk about, we reminisce. We try to cook the food we used to cook in Carriacou. Like um, the boys used to cook one callaloo. They call it the cook one callaloo band. So every now and again we'll get together and someone will do the cooking. So of course it's nice it reminds you then of Carriacou. We get together, reminisce, and the youngsters, my children, and I'm sure other people, children, we talk about Carriacou, we discuss Carriacou with them. So although some of them haven't been, but they are aware, they learn a lot, they know a lot. Now they'll have the bands and the kids will come around and will play music, sing the song from Carriacou, and that's great. It brings you right back to Carriacou. Yeah, yeah.
What did your parents or grandparents teach you about Carriacou?
About Carriacou itself.
Yeah, what did they teach you?
I think maybe I was too young to even think about that was a teaching thing, you know. It's to respect the elders, things like that. Um, we we learn to sew quite early, you know, to keep not running a house, but to cook, to keep ourselves clean, to respect one another, respect the elders. And I think that's what I can remember. Obviously, certain things probably I left home by then, but that's what I remember. Yeah.
What kind of traditions have you kept?
Well, things like carnival, we've kept that tradition going here through things like visiting one another. That's something we do here as Caribbean people, well, as Carriacou people. We still celebrate getting married, having, christening, things like that. We do still celebrate those things in Carriacou.
What does Carriacou mean to you now? What does it mean?
Well, it's the home of the land of my birth. I'll always go back there. It means a lot to me. It's my earliest memory growing up. So it does mean a lot. I go back there when I can. I enjoy going back because the things I grew up, I go back and relive it again. Yes.
So has that changed over time?
It changed. Yeah. Carriacou changed when I get back. I mean, I've been back, the last 2 years, I think. And I remember we didn't grow up, we didn't have light, we didn't have electricity. So we had lanterns and the place was dark. But then I went back and there was electricity, there was light, the roads were paved. It took a while, but we got there. The roads were paved, we've got light, we've got lovely wall houses that could stand, I suppose, the hurricane more than the small houses did, the boat houses. So there has been a lot of change since my childhood days. Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel different when you're here or versus there?
Do I feel different?
Yeah, do you feel different?
I suppose maybe I do, because when I go back, it's like going back home. I mean, I can't say it often enough. It's like going back. I enjoy every minute of it. I do feel different because everybody is so friendly. You know everybody. You feel like you know everybody. You're welcome. But here we are, again, we live so differently, our door is constantly locked up. Back home, the doors are open. I feel safe home because everybody knows one another and look out for one another. Yes, so there's a little difference there. Yeah. Meeting up the people and so on, the people that is there now. Yeah.
If you could describe Carriacou in one sentence, what would it say?
So my beautiful island in the sun,
What would you say to someone who's never been to
I'll say we are
Carriacou?
surrounded with blue seas, white sand, sunshine, not all the year round. We've got rain, and it's our little heaven.
If you can finish this sentence for me, you don't just fly to Carriacou, you what?
You go by boat.
Can you tell me about any folklore or
Any?
any kind of like a folklore stories or tales at all that you were told when you were growing up? I mean, what did your parents tell you not to do?
Oh, we couldn't stay out late at night. We couldn't stay out late. Um, and don't play with little boys. Don't, yes, and be respectable as well. And they do think there's Lajabless about. Quite a few of our parents believe that. So of course, telling you those stories, it is quite scary. Um, yes, and go to church, and you know, yeah.
What did people say would happen if you saw a Lajabless?
Do you know what? What did they say now? They think you'll be. I think they thought we could be. I'm not sure the word for it, but I remember them saying things, and it's quite scary what they're saying to you. Or you might, I don't know, you might be possessed or something. I can't clearly remember.
Mhm. Did anyone you know ever claim they saw a Lajabless?
Funny enough, there's a my my mom told us this. Somebody in the family, elder, they usually go to play dominoes and different things. And this gentleman, of course, heard music. Somebody was playing music on the road. It's dark, so he couldn't see that person quite clearly, but he did catch up with that person eventually. And uh, the gentleman said, "What way you play that music sweet?" He said, "You should hear me when I was alive." Now I remember that because my mom told us. It was yeah, that I remember, but the others no. I've heard people saying them, but no one has ever told me exactly what they've seen or what they've heard, and I've never experienced it.
What were you told to do if you saw something strange at night?
Oh, I won't be out in the night anyway, but if I did, I'd run like hell, I think. Me personally will be screaming if I did see something. I can't help myself in the dark in Carriacou.
What time of the night were you not supposed to be outside?
Do you know? Maybe when it's dark. I've never been told particularly what time to come in, but once it's getting dark, my parents expect me to be indoors. Again, being indoors is different. We've got stairs because of course it's your doors are open until late. And we'll sit on the stairs outside. We'll reminisce, we'll sing, we'll roast corn, and so on and so forth. So we didn't have an exact time to go inside. Yeah. So it wasn't, we weren't told not to go in, not to, we weren't told to go in at a particular time.
Did children actually believe these stories about
Really.
Lajabless?
I think they did. I think they did. Some of them did, yes. because everybody talk about it, the elderly people. And I think it was a way of passing the time away, for, especially for the men. It's like a story. And I think they're all trying to see who can tell the best story. And some of them, I think, was made up. I'm not sure. I think some of them was made up. So they call it Nancy's story as well. They sit there, yeah, stories, yeah.
Did you believe it or not?
I sort of believed it because the dark scared me. I didn't like the darkness. So I sort of believed it. I make myself believe it because I'm scared. Then again, I don't know, I'm not sure if I believe it, but it's something. They tell the story and you do feel something. You've never seen it, I've never seen it, but I do feel uncomfortable if I'm out late. I do feel strange if there's a noise because I think, oh, it could be Lajabless, but yeah, but I've never experienced it, so I'm not sure if I believed it completely.
Mm-hmm. What's the scariest thing you've ever heard growing up?
Oh, well. Oh my God. I can't think. There's a lot of scary things.
What's the worst thing? What's the scariest thing that you still think, ooh, makes you
Oh, well,
shudder?
I think seeing things make me more shudder than hearing it. I think seeing certain animals and um, things like, and I think the Lajabless story scared me a bit, even though I don't really believe it, but that scared me a bit because I wouldn't go out if they're saying that. Whether I think it's true or false, I'll stay indoors.
What were you not allowed to do as a child?
As a child growing up, I wasn't allowed to hang around and like young. Some of my friends would be out moonlight. They'll be out by on the roadside chatting and so on. But I wasn't allowed to do that. Yes, I wasn't allowed.
What did people believe about spirits or the dead? What did people?
Well, people believe there were
Yeah.
spirits from the dead. I mean, again, they believed it. Um, that the people die and come back in a spiritual way. And I think that's what was in my mind at the time. When they said Lajabless, I kept thinking it's somebody's spirit. I thought that could be what it was. Yeah.
Was there a moment when someone told you something that it stayed with you forever?
That, what I've just told you about that.
Right.
Yes, yeah. I mean, again, I've seen something, but when this bus started moving, we were in our own vehicle, and this thing was there, this vehicle was there, and it started moving. We never catch up with that vehicle. So I don't know whether someone else will say, oh, maybe it's a Lajabless, but I just felt maybe we lost contact with it. I thought maybe we lost the bus must have driven faster. That's what I thought. So that's something again I remember, but I can never work it out whether, you know.
Who taught you to cook?
I think through my mom because she'll be cooking and she'll expect me to come and help. And therefore that's the way I learned to cook. And of course I come to England, I learn myself, I continued. But it's through my mom, yeah, helping in the kitchen.
What kind of dishes would
Okay,
you cook during a celebration?
okay. Pork was one of the main things in Carriacou. Nice pork. And chicken and beef, I think. But pork and chicken was the main ones I remember that we did a lot. Yeah. And of
Um,
course, dumpling and peas and soup and all those goodies here.
What would you want someone visiting Carriacou to experience?
The sunshine, the beaches, the food, and of course the places of interest, agricultural place, because they have, at the moment, I'm sure they're selling books that we haven't got here, and it will tell you a lot about Carriacou and growing up there. So yes.
Who was the best cook in the family?
My sister, she's in America. My sister growing up, she was she was the best cook. She's older than me, of course.
Did the whole family gather together?
Yes, especially on a Sunday. Especially on a Sunday, we all ate together. Um, During the week, sometimes, according to what job you've got to do, some of us has to go to look after the animals. Some of us has to go and get water from the pond to fill up the drums, preparing for the animals the following day. So therefore, sometimes we don't because of that, because of the activities we've had. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Who got into the most trouble when you were children?
My sister, my sister, she did. Yes, she got into the most trouble. And the thing is, part of it was, can I tell you this? She was very light skinned. And the children used to tease her. And of course, she will probably fight back. And I don't know why, but she was teased a lot. And so she did get into the most trouble because she will fight back. Yes.
What did children do for fun?
Oh, the boys played cricket. That was popular. Football, marbles. I'm not sure if you understand that, but marbles, we had marbles, and yeah, we did. We played a lot of games, and of course, in the moonlight, we will sing, we'll play songs, we'll dance, we'll sing, especially this one. There's a brown girl in the ring, we'll form a ring and we'll dance and we'll sing the song and acts and so on. So, yes, we didn't have television in those days, but we did a lot of playing together. We got together and played. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Carriacou? Anything that's important to you?
Yes, there is something I want to say about Carriacou. Your parents changing people names. My name will be Lyris, but maybe they'll give me another name. So when you're born in Carriacou, what happens? Everybody gets a different name. It's like a false name, it's like a play name. And you grow up remembering the play name. So now you come to England and they will say, well, talk about somebody, but then you don't know that person because all you know is the play name. That's all you remember. And people get quite offended. So I know somebody who get very offended when you call her the name she grew up with in Carriacou. That was her false name. It wasn't her real name. But that's how we know. But she get very offended now. So you have to try and remember her real name. And that's a lot happening in Carriacou. They change people's names and they give you a different name. For me, I used to be called Mulatto or Malata. They'll always use that name. And yes, at the time, I didn't like it, but now it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, But yes, that's one of the things in Carriacou I remember, and it is still now. People are getting offended by it. Yeah. My family history. Okay, my grandfather is from Scotland, and they are both people. The billboards and most of them were sailormen, and the billboards in Carriacou, they were taught to billboards. That's something yes, I understand and learn
Mm-hmm.
from my father. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.